learners, today we are going to be talking about absolute value. So we've been doing a lot of work with integers and the number line and knowing like where integers are, what the value of one thing is compared to the other, how to put them in order. But we really need to talk about absolute value before you head on to your next section. So absolute value. Absolute value is the distance between a number and 0. So it's like how far the number is on a number line. So how many jumps does it take to get to the number on a number line? So it is the distance between a number and 0 on a number line. All right, so some special things that you need to know about absolute value. Can you see this? Oh no, it was cut off. I'm so sorry. Okay, so some things to know. It has a really special symbol. Okay, so 0 and whatever that number is that we're comparing. The special symbol that it uses are these two bars. These bars are like a machine, and whatever goes inside that machine is like spit out positive. So you could think of these numbers as having like the worst day ever, and as long as they go into that machine and get spit out, they are going to be positive. Well, the machine looks like this. Let's use X for our number, and it has two bars on either side. Those are the absolute value bars. So that one there and that one there. Whatever is in here becomes a positive because it tells you how far to 0 it is. So let's do a couple examples so you can see what it is that I am talking about. So example A, let's say that I have something that looks like this. This is reading as the absolute value of 4. So to find the absolute value of 4, we're going to make a number line. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, negative 4. All right, we can find how long it takes to get from 4 to 0. So how many jumps is it? Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps from 0. So to get from 4 to 0, I jumped 4 jumps. So the answer is 4. If I had one that is the absolute value of a negative 4, well, I can look at the absolute value of a negative 4 and I can make some jumps. I can go from 1, 2, 3, and 4. To get to negative 4, it took me 4 jumps to get back to 0. So the value is 4. See, it was a negative, but because it takes us 4 jumps to get to negative 4, it's actually a positive because we're just counting the distance or the jumps. All right, let's do another one. All right, so it says to, this one says to graph the absolute value of negative 3. So if I'm going to graph the absolute value of negative 3, I am going to first figure out how many jumps does it take. So make a bar or a number line. All right, to get to negative 3, I had to 1, 2, 3 jumps. Okay, so it took 3 jumps. But I need to graph the absolute value. So the absolute value of 3 is actually equal to 3. So I'm going to put a dot on 3. The absolute value of negative 3 equals 3. So I put my dot on the 3. Again, whatever I put into this machine is going to spit out a positive. Okay, so let's do another one. If it told me to graph the absolute value of negative 5, again, I'm going to make a number line, and I'm going to figure out how many jumps it takes to get to negative 5 from 0. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It took me 5 jumps. That's how far away from 0 it is. So this equals 5. So I'm going to graph it by putting a dot on 5 and labeling it the absolute value of negative 5. Okay, the only time that this absolute value could ever be a negative number is if it was something like this. So I have like a negative absolute value of negative 2. Remember, whatever is put inside the machine is positive. So that means it's a 2. However, the negative sign on the outside did not make it inside the machine. So these act like parentheses. So this one really means a negative 2. Okay, so let me show you how that works. So I had 2 jumps to get to negative 2, 1, 2. There's negative 2. But again, because it's 2 jumps, this is just a positive, or this just becomes a positive now. And then this drops down, and now it becomes a negative. So that's how you get your negative 2. So absolute value, counting the jumps to get to 0. And if something is on the outside of the absolute value machine, that's where you put the negative sign. All right, 6th graders, it is your turn. We're going to do 2 try-its. I'm going to first have you do a try-it that is telling me the absolute value. So try-it number 1. I want to know what is the absolute value of negative 6. And then try-it number 2. We're going to use what we've been looking at with comparing integers. And I want you to compare the absolute value of 9 and the absolute value of negative 9. So go ahead and compare both of those. Hit pause so you don't hear me talking, and then when you're ready, come on back and check your work. All right, so the absolute value of negative 6 is just equal to 6 because when I have a number line, I jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places to get to negative 6. All right, same thing on this one. Absolute value of 9, it takes me 9 jumps to get to positive 9, so the absolute value is 9. It takes me 9 jumps to get to the absolute value of negative 9. So when I compare 9 to 9, they are equal. All right, 6th graders, how did you do on this lesson? It's kind of a weird concept, I know. But go ahead and answer your essential question. What is absolute value? So go ahead and describe to me absolute value. And then in the box, tell me what you're rating in your level of understanding so that you can make adjustments to your learning. If you have questions, come back to the Google Meet and ask me, especially if something is confusing. Otherwise, head on over to Big Ideas and complete your practice work. As always, Cougars, thank you so much for all your hard work and effort. I really appreciate it, and make it a great day the Cougar way.